Hello, hope you find yourself well in the Lord. I want to share about something where I want to say about a year ago, I was coming back from lunch, back to work. I was getting off my vehicle, and a older man approached me. He had a Bible in his hand, and I have seen this man before walk by the shop where I work. And he approached me and he said, he gave me a prophecy over my life. He said, he prophesied some good stuff that's in the Bible, which I already knew because God has told me the same thing. But then he said something where I was kind of like not in agreement to what he was saying. But he said that the church that I go to, that I need to stop going there. I need to go somewhere else. And then he gave me his church like business card. But when he told me that part, I felt so much fear. I felt so much discomfort that I just said, "Oh, okay." And he started talking about some other stuff, and then he left. And the crazy thing is that 2 years before I had the encounter with that guy, one of my coworkers had told me something about him, something bad about him, like he was up to no good. He goes, "Yeah, that man walks around with the Bible, but he does things that he shouldn't be doing." And I'm like, "Okay, that's weird." So then I have this encounter with him about a year ago where he tells me this prophecy, right? He starts off with a good prophecy, which God had already spoken to me about that. And then he gives me another prophecy that I was kind of like, I don't think so. I was not agreeing. And I felt a lot of fear and anxiety when he told me that. So I sat down with God and I asked him about the prophecy, the one that didn't make sense. Like, I'm like, I don't think God would want me to do that. And God told me, like, how did you feel when he told you that? And I said, I felt fear, I felt anxiety, I felt like something like terrible, like something bad about it. And he said, well, you know that all that does not come from me. And I said, I know. He goes, so that tells you that that prophecy that he spoke over you was not from me. And I said, okay, that makes sense. But I sat down in prayer and I asked God to give me clarity because I'm like, he's saying that I need to leave the church that I'm going to and go somewhere else. And after God, gave me clarity, he also revealed to me. So what he was trying to do was he was trying to get me to go to the church that he goes to. That's why he gave me his church business card so I can leave the church that I was going to and go to the one he goes to. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And so that's why it's important to have a relationship with God because you can go to God about anything at any time and He would tell you. And so I said, okay, that makes sense. I kind of knew that was not from God, at least not that part. And then also, this happened about a year ago, and then God brought me about this whole situation. He brought it to my attention this morning, how He was telling me that I needed to share this story because of how many false prophets and teachers and preachers are out there telling people all this kinds of stuff and it's not even of God. And he reminded me of this incident, and God was telling me what would have happened if you would have listened and you would have left the church where God had ordained me to be at. If I would have left that church and gone to his or at any other church, that would have been really bad because for one, God never told me to leave. For two, I would have fallen into a lie, into deception. And for three, it would have destroyed me because the enemy, like it says in John 10:10, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Just like the prophets of God can prophesy, the prophets of the devil can also prophesy. And if you don't believe me, read, I believe it's First Kings chapter 18, where Prophet Elijah came against the prophets of the devil. And anyways, read the story. But yeah, so we have to be careful what prophecy is being spoken over our lives, over our children, our family, because not everything comes from God. Ask the Lord to give you discernment so that you know if it's from God or not. Number one flag was that part. If you don't feel peace when the prophecy is being given to you, or someone's trying to give you a word of encouragement, but you don't feel peace about it, it is not from God. That's the number one flag. Number two flag would be that if it's like, if you just have this bad, like, you don't feel comfortable, like, first of all, if you don't even know the person, it's like, where did you come from and why are you telling me? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't like make sense. That's another flag. I mean, it depends on the prophecy. It can be something from your future, as in like, I don't know, maybe get married or something. But if you feel like this, just you don't feel connected to that, that's a red flag. But make sure that you're going to God, not to anyone else. Go to God and tell him, God, was this prophecy of you? Because he's the one that will give you the answer. Sometimes God will use pastors or other people close to you to be like, no, yeah, that is from God. I think it is. Because some people are very connected to God, that God will speak to them to give you clarity. So God can use people to give you clarity in whatever it is that you're asking God. But you should always go to God first. Once you go to God, he will give you an answer. If it's not directly from him, it'll be from him by using someone else to give you the answer, if that makes sense. So be careful with these prophets, with these people, especially when they're doing things for their own personal gain, trying to get money out of you. I literally just watched a video where it was a pastor or a prophet. I couldn't really tell because it was a fast video that I saw on social media, where he's telling the lady that she needs to sell her house and give him the title in 90 days. I'll be real honest with you, it's very rare that God will tell anyone to do something like that. If God ever tells you to sell your house or whatever, normally it will be because He has something better for you, or He's going to send you on a mission. Like, you will really have to sit with God before you come in an agreement with something like that. But this prophecy that I watched, where this guy told this lady that she needs to sell her house and give him the title, like, that is a red flag. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they listen and they do it. They do it. So we just have to be very, very careful. Very careful. And it's important that we read the word of God. So having said that, I pray that you have the eyes to see, ears to hear, to know what is from God, what isn't. Ask Him for discernment to sharpen your discernment. May God bless you. May He take care of you, and may He lead you for the rest of your lives. And may you be filled with His peace, with His love, and may you begin to see the work that He's doing in your life. God bless. Take care. And Jesus Christ is King.